In this series, created for poets and writers of all ages, we're going to take a close look at a selection of some of the greatest animal poems ever written to try to learn tips and tricks from masters of the craft. So each of us will be a kind of field biologist, adventurer, ecologist in a forest of words and sounds as we immerse ourselves in the minds of these poets through their poetry to try to figure out just what it is that they're doing so well. But don't worry, we'll neither focus too much on emotions or become fixated on high-minded techniques. Instead, the focus is going to be on becoming better writers. And to this end, I'll provide a distillation that's concrete and practical of the ideas and principles we can glean from these masters of the craft that you can use immediately to improve your own poetry. At the same time, I hope that this series will make us closer readers and more engaged and alert observers of this wondrous natural world. From exotic creatures in the most remote forests and seas to the familiar ones right out there in our own backyards. So this may seem like a lofty goal, and I admit it is, but I believe that we can do it. And so I'll tell you just how I plan to go about this. We'll start off each video with a recitation where I'll recite a classic poem. These will all be about animals, and they'll run the gamut of authors, from older authors and writers like Milton, Keats, Blake, and Emily Dickinson, to more recent writers like Maya Angelou, Mary Oliver, and Seamus Heaney. After I've recited the poem, I'm going to present you with a few questions just to spark your thinking about the poem. Then I'll invite you to pause the video, think about these questions, and then restart it as we act sort of like a scientist would upon discovering a new animal, looking at both the commonalities that these poems have with other great poems, as well as the distinguishing features that make each poem so fresh and unique. As far as the commonalities, we're looking at the principles, not just great poetry, but great writing. We'll break these down into the musical, such as the rhythm, the lyrical qualities of the language, the sounds, and also the visual. These will be things like the images conjured through the poet's diction, and also the architectural blueprint constructed by the poet, consciously or not, that allows them to take us on this incredible emotional and intellectual journey. In the end, I hope that we can figure out just what it is that allows the poet to have such a profound effect on our own minds and our own emotions. And I'll try to break down in a series of tips the techniques used by these poets in the construction of the poem so that you can immediately become a better writer in your own work. So I hope in the end you walk away from this series with not just a deeper understanding of poetry that makes you a better writer, but also better understanding of art and this incredible natural world. Now, in the next section of this video, we're going to take a look at just why animal poems are such a terrific starting place for poets of all ages and skill levels. I'll give you a hint. Poems are actually a lot like animals themselves. This idea goes all the way back to Aristotle. Then, after we finish the introduction to the series, we're going to take a look at our very first animal poem. And I'll follow that with a breakdown like the one that I just gave an overview of above. This breakdown will be of Ted Hughes' poem, The Thought Fox, which is an incredible description of a fox, as well as a brilliant commentary on the process of the creation of a poem. At the same time, it's a masterclass in using our words wisely and effectively, choosing the perfect words that get right to the marrow of whatever it is we're trying to bring to life in our poetry. So, I hope that you'll join me for that, and until next time, write wild.